Welcome back, everyone. I want to go ahead and break down why I think the older Samsungs are actually better than some of the newer Samsung phones that have been coming out. Now, I talked about the same thing with Apple, and it's almost like what those old timers say, were like, oh, back in the good old days. And that kind of is the case with a lot of these devices. It seems like with every upgrade, there seems to be some things that are missing or some things that the older devices did better that the newer ones just don't do as well. And specifically with the Samsung Galaxy S21, it seems like with the Fold series and the Flip series, those are making better improvements than the standard S series, which is kind of annoying. Now with the S series, I'll be honest, when you had a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S10 of 2019, that was a flagship above flagships. They just threw everything they had at the time. They put in that beautiful dynamic AMOLED display, Samsung DeX, headphone jack, microSD card slot, USB-C obviously, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, one of the best cameras that still holds up this year. And they gave it to us at that standard price tag, and they also made the S10e, which was perfect, and the S10 Plus. And to be honest, even with the Galaxy S20, that was also a solid phone. We had 8K capability, a better display arguably, 120Hz, and the whole 9 yards. That was also a very solid phone. And now with the S21, I just really wasn't a huge fan of it, I'm glad they reduced that price tag, but it still wasn't something that I was super happy about, and I think that's a massive thing to keep in mind. I think with the Galaxy S21, they removed the microSD card slot, downscaled that display, and overall, it still had that great chipset, it still had everything in it, but it just seemed like you weren't getting as solid of a phone or a solid upgrade going from an S20 to an S21. But even rewinding back a little bit, with the Galaxy S8, that is a solid phone that I'm just such a huge fan of. And with a phone like this, that phone had a lot of capability too. It had that, 1440p panel, almost no bezel. It kind of had that mixed design, but that one was a solid phone as well, and I'm a huge fan of it. And compared to the S21, there are still some advantages with the Galaxy S8 that the S21 didn't have. Things like that headphone jack with the combo of the microSD card slot, a high resolution display as well, which is another cool thing. But even rewinding back just like 2 generations to the Galaxy S6, although the S6 was a very weird phone, and I wouldn't say it's like a great phone or even a good phone, there was a feature with that phone that Samsung didn't even want you to have that, in my opinion, demolished every phone that came after it, and that was the ability to root it and custom ROM it fairly easily. Now, I think the Galaxy S8 submodels you can do it, maybe even with the S9, but the Galaxy S6 I was actually able to root and custom ROM, and it was easily one of my favorite devices ever on a custom ROM version of software. I think I put Android 10 on it at the time, and that was breathtaking in my opinion. Having Samsung hardware of 2015 or 2016, whatever it was, but having that glass on the back, beautiful display, the home button regardless, I was still able to use the gesture-based design on it, and that was a massive feature that I loved for the Galaxy S6 and the previous phones. I've also custom ROMmed the S5, S4, S3, and I think the Galaxy S2 at a certain time, and I love those custom ROMs. I've had a lot of custom ROM phones, and I'm a huge fan of it. And when you have a phone like the Galaxy S21, the biggest downside is the software. Having the ability to change the software to custom ROM to, stock software would be a huge feature. And that's another reason why I think some of the older Samsungs are sometimes better. Obviously I wouldn't have a Galaxy S6 anymore. I wouldn't want to use one on a daily, phone. But it's very interesting to see that kind of, thing where that type of phone had that type of capability, but now we don't. Samsung has really locked in, certain features of the Galaxy, and even on top of that, with the Z Flip, apparently if you go and try to custom ROM it or you unlock the bootloader, you actually brick the cameras, so you can't even use the cameras on that phone anymore. So even if you were to somehow get a custom ROM on it, the cameras would not actually work on that device, making it somewhat of a lemon. And in my opinion, that's just not that great. I'm not a huge fan of that, and ultimately, those are just a couple reasons why I think some of the older Samsungs may actually be better than some of the newer Samsung phones that have been coming out. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.